Elizabeth, can you hear me? Not hearing me, maybe. Hmm. Okay. So good
Hi,
morning.
Harvey.
Hey, are you outside?
I am outside. I'm not where the picture shows
Okay,
me to be, but I am outside.
okay, good. Well, welcome.
But
Welcome,
it's
everybody.
it's lovely to see you.
Same here.
Where's Ann?
She's still kind of
Ann's
concluding.
not on.
She's not on. She's concluding her retreat. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Send her my love.
I will. And hello, Michael. Welcome. And Charlotte and Verena, Christina and Tina and Ken. Good morning. Lovely to have you. And Susan, whichever Susan you are. Hey, David, as well. That almost looks like Julian. Of course, I can't see clearly, but okay, everyone. So here we are, Sunday, January 5th, 2024. We are broadcasting from Houston, Texas. I am sitting in Capitan, New Mexico, and it's our first Sunday meditation practice period. So we do a very, very simple, two simple meditations. Um, the first is mindfulness of the breath, and the second is a chanting meditation. So I'll review each in turn. The mindfulness of the breathing, we start by actually sensing just how we're sitting. We have contact with the ground or what we're sitting on, a cushion. So we are in contact and we sense that. That's a support for us, it's a pillar of support. We sense our support. And then we're aware that our body, our vertebra, our skeletal structure, it just naturally supports us. If we just let ourselves be more or less at ease, we're supported. And then on a more subtle level, it's within the spiritual framework of Tibetism. There's an idea, there's a central channel of energy that runs from about the navel to the crown, right in front of the spine. It's kind of an inner support for us as well. So we have three pillars of support. And we sit straight but not stiff. Depending on how you want to be, you can either have your eyes closed or just slightly open, but if they're slightly open, not focused, they're just soft focus is one way to understand it. And we're going to use the breath as a focus for our attention. And it seems to be the case that if we maintain our focus on the breath for a while, in time there's a movement to a sort of a calming down. But there's also the fact that we're developing attention, which, as we go through our daily lives, if we have more attention, we have options to make choices. As I was saying before, if I have some capacity for sensing with attention what's going on in my body, if I'm wanting to reach for my phone to put on the news to distract myself, it's with attention I'm noticing I've got that impulse and have a decision moment. So attention gives us options for decision making. So when we're observing the breath, we can do it at the ring of the nostrils, we can do it at the kind of throat lung area, or we can go to a point in our abdomen that is about 3 or 4 finger widths below our navel and 3 or 4 finger widths in from the skin. In Tibetan system, it's called the Do. In the Chinese and Japanese system, it's either the Hara or the Dangtian. It's associated with the capacity for developing spiritual focus and spiritual presence. So we often focus in that area, the Do, and we're observing the process of breathing at that point. 3 or 4 finger widths in from the skin, 3 or 4 finger widths below the navel. And we just allow our attention to be in that area and notice the very, very delicate change process, the kinesthetic sensations associated with the process of breathing. As we breathe, our abdomen changes, our abdomen moves. And so we attend to it. And whichever area we're using for observing the breath, there can be a two aspect piece to it of you may start with feeling you're observing the process, but can you find yourself settling into the process where you're actually immersed in the immediacy of the experience, whether it be at the Do, at your lungs and throat, or at the ring of the nostril, where you, as it were, lose yourself in the process of sensing the experience. And in that sensing, there's an immediacy, there's a freshness, there's an absence of being lost in all of the cognitive chatter that bedevils our ordinary experience. If that can occur, it can be a very, very slightly different experience, but also a very rich experience of spiritual immediacy, a very, very significant experience of spiritual immediacy, where you're just in your experience. You're not even observing the experience. So we'll take probably about 10 minutes right now to practice what I just suggested. And if you find yourself, if there are thoughts and emotions that are just occurring kind of in the sideshow and you're able to maintain your focus, great. And if you get lost, if it's comfortable for you, you can just note that loss with either thinking, or distraction, and then gently bring yourself to the process. No blame, no shame, just aware that that's what your mind did. That's what all of our minds do. Our ordinary minds love to be distracted. And bring yourself back to this interesting process of breath with a compassionate awareness, with an empathic awareness. You're just loving yourself and being with yourself in the moment and enjoying the ability to be with ourselves in this moment. At your nostrils, at your throat or lungs, or 3 or 4 finger widths below the navel, 3 or 4 finger widths in from the skin. What's it like to feel the process of breath? And if you get there, can you just settle into that experience? So that marks the end of our mindfulness of breathing period for now. And we'll move to period of chanting. This is a practice given to us by Adzom Pela Rinpoche from Tibet, one of our guiding teachers. We focus on the syllable hung, which, if you wanted to think of it in English letters, might best be thought of as Hoong, hung. And we say it twice, hung, hung, at whatever our pace is. Those of you who are online, you can unmute so we have a chorus of hung. And we are focusing our attention, our breath, our hearing, our body on the chanting and experiencing of the home. And similar to what I said about the breath, there may be a way in which we observe the process, but also is there a way in which we can settle into it, where that sense of observer and observed dissolves either some or altogether, and we get immersed in the immediacy of the experience of the chant. In that immediacy, there's freshness, there's an absence of the way we normally are running ourselves just through thinking, thinking, thinking. So it's an experiment. So we'll do this for about 5 minutes. And I encourage people who are online to unmute. Have concluded the chanting practice. We normally do a reading, but I didn't bring my book. I'm sorry. So I will bring up a little something to talk about, and then we'll see if people have some comments. So the way I taught this morning, I taught there were two aspects to being mindful of the breath. One is, observing the process, kind of you have a sense of an observer and observed, and that's fine and it's usual. But then there's another step we can take, which is to see if we can actually, as it were, settle into the process to the point of kind of lessening, maybe even giving up that sense of an observer. And I'm wondering if that was a new kind of instruction. And if you tried it, how did it go? Anybody? Was it understandable? And if it was understandable, was it doable?
Yes. I love when I can fall into that space of just being. Oh, it's Annie.
Hi, Annie. So you find you can do that?
Yeah, depends on the day, but yes, today I was able to go there a little bit. Yes.
Lovely. Do you notice a difference of some sort?
Yeah, I feel like I could sit in that position forever.
Forever.
Yeah,
So
like
there's a bit
time
of a
doesn't pass.
kind of timeless almost.
Hmm.
Yeah, lovely. Because I think it's a kind of gateway to actually deeper spiritual possibilities. So it's wonderful that you can sense that. Appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you, Annie. Anybody else?
Oh, just a simple thing. I have a problem with a laptop screen in front of me. I like to meditate with my eyes slightly open, and I just have to kind of change my gaze and avoid that darn screen.
Uh-huh.
It's not an issue when I'm not in front of the screen.
Right. But it's a particular issue that arises when you're in front of the screen. I hear that. Is there did, were you able to shift between kind of observing to settling in, or is that not easy for you, or how was that?
I had a little difficulty with it today.
Is it something you do some of the time?
Oh yeah, yeah. Again, I think maybe I start thinking about the Zoom meeting and the screen. There's something that's a little makes it a little different. So other times I am able to drop that duality.
Yeah. Well, lovely. Very, very important. And important to be able to recognize that the screen can be a kind of obstacle. It's just, we just recognize that. Yeah. Appreciate hearing that. And good to see you this morning. Anyone else have something to share or observe? There's a hand in the Dawn Mountain, it looks like. Who is speaking? Can you tell me? I can't really see.
Nancy, can you hear
Nancy,
me?
okay, Nancy is speaking on live on a screen, and then we'll go to Dawn Mountain Live. Okay, go ahead, Nancy.
Um, the second that I tell my observer to let go, I turn into three people.
I understand.
And it's a thing of that I can only do this without trying to do this.
I understand. Well said. So there are ways in which instructions and doing can become obstructions. Instructions can become obstructions. And it's wonderful to be able to be aware of that. Again, no shame, no blame. And that for you, it's a kind of a natural progression if you're observing, settling may occur, but it's not something you trigger, because the minute you trigger, there are three parties at the party. And it's a lovely self-awareness. I appreciate very much your bringing that to the table. Yeah, thank you. So then the person at Dawn Mountain.
Hi, it's Madeline. I focused on the dough, the spot that you had described about the dough, and that was the first time I've done that. And it was like a very unique sensation to do that when I could keep it there, like when I could keep my focus there. It's easier for me to focus right under my nostrils, but doing the dough thing, it was definitely unique and kind of ethereal, which was it made it very interesting. And especially when I was able to keep it, the attention centered right there.
Can you say anything more about ethereal with no judgment or anything, just some sense of what that ethereal was like?
Yeah, definitely like around this spot of the dough, it felt like there was no weight. Right now the reason I'm sitting and not sit no I'm sitting in the chair is I've been having back pains, and so when I focused on that dough, beyond the back, I mean I didn't feel the back pains, but also it felt kind of like my body was without weight, which was very interesting.
Okay,
Especially in that spot.
yeah. So not to get dualistic and not to be dualistic, but sometimes our bodies feel heavier, sometimes they feel lighter, and sometimes spirituality is associated with lighter experience. There can be awareness of the body, full bore body awareness with spirituality, but sometimes it can feel the body is a little bit more ethereal or light. So lovely to hear. Thank you, Madeline. Sorry about the back pain, but it's good that you're taking care of yourself by sitting on the chair. Anyone else have any experience or observation to share? We are passing around. Is somebody speaking?
Oh, me, Annie.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do with our hands while we're sitting?
Your hands can be just right hand over left on your kind of in your lap. That would be a way, or they can just be on your legs, on your thighs. That's another thing to do.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're passing around a book at Dawn Mountain, and the purpose of the book is we feel that we are meditating, we are cultivating merit, and we share that merit at the end of the period with people who have either passed or are ill. And so if you care to put names of people you would like us to bring to mind in the chat, Shane will collate those and get those into the book by the end of the period. This is also a period when we can wait till the end to do announcements. Okay, so at this point, I think we'll resume meditation. Yeah. So we will start again with mindfulness of the breath. And we can use the nostrils, the throat and lungs, and or the spot 3 or 4 inches below the navel, 3 or 4 inches from within the skin. And we start with noticing the process of breath, the sensations, the experience, and then we see if we can settle into that with not a lot of willfulness, not a lot of, I'm going to do this, in a very kind of almost like collapsing into a bean chair kind of attitude about it, just collapsing, letting go into, if possible, into the process. And not to make it into a big deal. It might just occur naturally as another way, obviously. So we'll do that for about another 10 minutes. we will resume the chanting practice very briefly for about 2 minutes. And at the end of that, we'll have a very short, quiet sit. So we begin with the chanting. Om. 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 Resume quiet sitting momentarily, noticing the breath. And then let yourself relax and just sense the impact of what we've been doing, your body, your mind, your emotions. Just see how you are, accept how you are, notice how you are, be curious about how you are, just be present. Shane, if you can put up the dedication followed by the blessing. By this good may I swiftly once become a great guru, lead all beings, everyone, to reach to that very ground. With all of you in mind, we Light this lamp of clarity. May the glow of love wisdom shine within us, everyone, till we all rise forth born in one enlightened mandala. And are the names in the chat, Shane? Here they are. Okay, great. Nam, Era, Jackson family, Karen, Maria, Charlie, our teachers, Simone, Sam Goodrow, Ken Goodrow, Greg Morris, Carolyn Hands, Juliana, family and father, Lori Schatzel Hill and her journey to healing. May it be swift and pure. Galena, heart healing. Selwa, Marie and daughters, our Sangha, all suffering animals. Mordula, Meta, Bardo, Amy and her family, Shia, Nikki, Thomas, Aisha, Emily, Danny, Rita, Madeline, Robert's mom, Amy, Valerie, Tex, Nancy, Darcy, George, Mark Smith, and Matt Fitz's mother. And we will conclude with an ah, which we are sending light throughout our body, to everyone here, to everyone throughout the universe, all beings throughout the universe. Just a gentle, kind ah. Ah. Shane, announcements?
Let me see if Emily has any. I would not know. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Hello to everybody I didn't have a chance to say hello to before. Neil, and Susan, and Ivan, and Charlie, Verena.
Sorry, we're making tacos. We do have a new Teaching Tuesday series coming up, starting the third Tuesday of the month. I'll ask Harvey to talk about it in just a minute, but it is called Truth That Set Us Free. It covers a lot of very traditional concepts and is great for new beginners all the way through very experienced. And we're going to see how these concepts are applicable in our everyday life today. We also have a couple of retreats coming up, and you will start to see registration for them soon. There is a weekend retreat in early March for Guru Yoga, which is part of our Dzogchen cycles. In late March, we will have Lama Tenzin do a retreat with us virtually from France. And in May, we will have 2 week-long retreats. The first is on POA, which is a practice for the dying or the dead, one of the two, I'm sorry. And then we will have a guest teacher, Kempo Yeshi, for the second retreat. Harvey, would you like to make some comments?
Yes. So the first on the Teaching Tuesdays, let me just get my video unblurred. Guess who's here? Coming out of retreat, first public appearance. The Teaching Tuesdays will be some very, very basic teachings on what are called the truths, dependent origination, how we get stuck and how we get free. It will be very, very rich. It will be both a way to learn some very basic things for those who are new, And the way we will approach it, even people who know a lot about the Dharma will find it, I think, enjoyable and educational and practicable. So we encourage people to come. The New Year's retreat, the Losar retreat in March will be on Guru Yoga, which is an essential practice. For anyone who's not part of Dzogchen cycles, we ask you to submit a application just so that if you're interested, just so we have a better idea of who you are. The 2 retreats in May, Lama Tenzin's retreat in March will be a continuation of his teachings on the movement, stillness movement and awareness, which are very, very profound Dzogchen teachings, but the way he teaches it, you can come in freshly. And then in May, POA is for us if we are dying. And it's also a practice we can do for those who we know who have died once we get some skill in doing it. And the second practice will be a commentary by Khenpo Yeshe, who is an exceedingly wonderful Dzogchen master, Dzogchen teacher, on a prayer on the path, what's called the basis, the path, and the fruition of Dzogchen practice by Jigme Lingpa. That will be the second, I think it will be calendarically the third week of May. But if you're interested in Dzogchen, it will be a very, very wonderful opportunity to come to a teaching, which will be open to everyone. Anything you want to say?
Yeah,
I
all
did
of
have
those are really great experiences, and we welcome you to consider coming to them. They operate on different levels, as Lama Namgyal has said. They serve as introductions. And also for those of you who are already introduced, they offer a platform for further reflection and deepening of an understanding of how they might actually matter in your own life. And please feel free to ask us questions about these retreats. You can read about Guru Yoga and also about POA, transference, in the last 2 chapters of Words of My Perfect Teacher, which is, by the way, a fantastic introduction to a full spectrum of Tibetan teachings, and very, very much in our lineage and very accessible. I look forward to seeing you.
Lovely to see everyone. And
then really quick, I'm so sorry I forgot. Last Friday of February, we are going to have our Losar potluck. It's our biggest event of the year because it is the Tibetan New Year. We actually have friends from Tibet who come and they bring Tibetan food. There's usually more than 40 of us here eating and doing some traditional Tibetan New Year traditions, like the dough and the yarn. And so it's a really great cultural event, and it's a really great celebration for the community.
Ivan, what time is it in Korea?
I know what time it is. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Is that right?
You need to unmute, Ivan.
Can't see Ivan.
Here you.
Okay.
3 a.m. Monday,
Oh,
3 a.m.
Yeah.
Well,
That is
nice to see
devotion.
you.
We are very impressed.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. Great to see you. Everybody everywhere all over the world. What lovely to see you. It's lovely to see people at Dawn Mountain, and those who are at Dawn Mountain are going to enjoy some tacos. So people who are in Houston, we encourage you to come to First Sundays because there's great food.
And the other Sundays are good too.
And the other Sundays are good
Meditation
too.
and some camaraderie.
So
Happy New Year, everyone.
lovely to see everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.